Welcome to Cat Sara Yoga Postnatal and this interactive mum and baby yoga class, focusing on feet and legs for both mum and baby. Begin in a seated position. You can hold your baby on your lap or let them lie down on the floor in front of you. Observe how you are feeling. If your lower back or hips ache in this position, then sit up on a cushion or a yoga block or a thick book, something that will give your pelvis a lift, and you'll be able to sit up taller and straighter and with more ease. Relaxing your face and jaw, relaxing lips, teeth and tongue. Relaxing your shoulders down your back and feeling your lower back lengthening up. Be aware of the sensation of your breath, observing the breath as it flows in and as it flows out. We are going to work on engaging the pelvic floor and the lower abdominal muscles when we exhale. And this is known as Mula Bandha, the root lock of energy in yoga. It's going to help tone and strengthen the muscles of the pelvic floor and the lower abdominals. So inhaling, and as you exhale, feel as though you're sending all the breath out from the depths of your belly, and feel as though you are lifting the pelvic floor as if it were an aeroplane drawing its wheels up and in. Continue to observe your breath and continue with this practice of inhaling and exhaling, engaging the pelvic floor, lifting it up, drawing it in, and also feeling that you're drawing your lower belly in towards the spine. Inhale, relax as you fill the chest with breath, and exhale, lift the pelvic floor, draw the tummy in. Feel that strength it gives you in your core. As we do the movements in the class, see if you can remember to engage your Mula Bandha like this with every exhalation. Don't worry if you forget though. As you practice more yoga, it will become more of a natural thing to do to engage Mula Bandha, lift the pelvic floor, draw the tummy in as you exhale and as you move. And of course there'll be places in the class where we're singing and it might not be quite as easy to engage it, or we're relaxing the body completely, in which case you'll let everything go. So don't worry about it too much. Enjoy this time here practicing, breathing in, relaxing everything, and then breathing out, drawing the tummy in towards the spine, lifting the pelvic floor. Think of that aeroplane drawing its wheels up and in. This is going to boost circulation to the tissues of the pelvic floor, as well as tone and strengthen them. So it's all good for health of the pelvic floor, really excellent for helping to heal after birth, and just generally very good all your life to do this practice. To feel this practice a little bit more clearly, you may like to lay your baby down and place your hands upon your belly, inhaling into a relaxed belly and chest, and exhaling, drawing the tummy in, lifting the pelvic floor, noticing how your tummy draws in towards the spine, and you'll feel that with your hands. Or maybe just feeling your belly expanding against your baby as they sit on your lap, and exhaling, feeling that Mula Bandha engaging. So last few rounds of breath here, and then we shall begin some movement. See if you can keep going with engaging Mula Bandha with every exhalation, drawing tummy in, lifting pelvic floor. On your inhalation, shrug your shoulders up to your ears and exhale them down your back. Continue with your breath, noticing how your shoulders are feeling. If you're anything like me, looking after a baby makes your shoulders really crunchy and tense. Enjoy this movement and find a place where your shoulders are settled down your back, away from your ears. We're coming into seated star pose. So your feet come together a good distance away from your body. Your baby's head can rest on your feet. You could tell them that we're going to practice some yoga now. We're going to do some yoga now. Yeah, we're going to do some yoga. Yeah. Rub your hands together, creating some warmth between your hands. Place the palms of your hands over your eyes and allow your eyes to bathe in this warm eye bath of energy. Try to make the palms like a suction cup around the eye sockets and slowly draw your hands away from your eyes. Rub palms together and reaching up, inhaling. On your exhalation, tip the hips forward as you lean forward and stroke your baby down from head to toe. Give their feet a little squeeze. This is soothing for the babies. Rub your hands together. Inhale, stretching up. And this time as you exhale and reach forward, stroking baby from head to toe, sing an Om. Let's do that again. And one more time. The Om sound is very soothing for babies and can be used at other times when you need to soothe them. It's also very calming for you, and the healing vibration of your voice is sent through all the cells of your body and your babies. In order to enjoy this star pose stretch, you can tip forward at the hips again, maybe rounding your shoulders over your baby. Give them a few kisses. Coming back up to sitting and bringing palms to touch. Inhale as you reach up and exhale, twisting from the base of the spine, let your hands drift down, look over your back shoulder. Inhale back to center and exhale, twist the other way. Take your time, we're going to keep going with this movement. Inhaling to center, reaching up, long spine. Exhale, twist, the hands drift down wherever they naturally settle. Continue with the breath. You might find your baby watching the movement, tracing the movement of your hands with their eyes. You can even click your fingers, which is another sensory stimulation for babies and may get their attention. Babies enjoy watching patterns of movement. So bring palms to touch, exhaling down through the center. Inhaling, reaching one arm up and extending over into a side lean. Maybe clicking the fingers if that feels right. Inhale, reaching up and exhaling over to the other side. Let's continue with the breath. As you move, stay very grounded through your sit bones into the earth and reaching your fingertips up and over. So you're lengthening that whole side of your body. This will feel really good, stretching out the sides of the rib cage and the chest, areas that get really tight when you're caring for a baby, lifting them, feeding them, all the things you need to do. Come back to center. Bring your thumbs to the back of your pelvis, fingertips to your inner hip bones. In a clockwise direction, circle your pelvis. So the action here is tipping the pelvis forwards into one sit bone, forwards into the other sit bone, backwards into one sit bone, backwards into the other sit bone. If this hurts your back, then find something higher to sit on, like a firm cushion or a yoga block. The movement is coming from the hips and not the waist. So you're tipping forward at the hips, tipping backwards at the hips, circling the pelvis. Take your baby's shins in your hands. And as you circle, bring their knees in towards their tummies and out again. We're doing this in a clockwise direction, and this is going to help their digestion. When we circle in a clockwise direction, we're circling in the direction that the food moves through their bellies. This is going to help stimulate digestion, relieve constipation and gas. To make this even more fun for our babies, we're going to sing Wheels on the Bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. Tip forward at your hips and squeeze baby's knees in towards their tummies. Another good way to help with their digestion. So now we'll circle the hips in the opposite direction, and this time do a movement that is really great for relieving shoulder tension. Imagine that you are stirring a big pot of porridge, circling the hips in an anti-clockwise direction. Remember to keep this movement coming from the hips and not the waist, so it's the pelvis tipping forwards and tipping backwards as you circle. And let's sing Wheels on the Bus again. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. Take baby's feet and clap the soles of their feet together. This is good for their proprioception, learning where their body is in space. As we clap feet together, we can do a cute little rhyme. Clap down low, clap in the middle, clap up high, touch your nose if you can. Never force the baby though, just see how the body moves willingly. Clap down low, clap in the middle, clap up high, touch your nose if you can. So now we're going to do a soothing technique on baby's feet, which is based in reflexology. Starting with the big toe, bring your fingers to the base and shimmy your fingers up the toe like a caterpillar crawling, and gently draw them off the top, not really pulling the toe, but just a very gentle lengthening of the toe up. We'll do this for each toe, and we will use the rhyme "This little piggy went to market," replacing roast beef with tofu. And then circling your finger around the ball of their foot, try to get underneath the toes, which will cause them to spread the toes, which is great if they tend to crunch and curl their toes a lot. Then we press into the centre of the ball of the foot, which is a soothing point on the foot. Here we go. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed at home. This little piggy had roast tofu. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 all the way home. Let's do the same again on the other foot. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed at home. This little piggy had roast tofu. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 all the way home. And then Then we'll bring baby's soles of their feet right together again and do our clap down low rhyme. Clap down low, clap in the middle, clap up high, touch your nose if you can. Next we'll use the rhyme round and round the garden like a teddy bear to circle around the balls of baby's feet again, stimulating them to spread their toes and stretch their feet. Round and round the garden like a teddy bear. Now stroke down the sole of your baby's foot. 1 step, 2 step, tickly under there. Do the same again on the other side, and feel free to pause the video to do this more times with your baby. Round and round the garden like a teddy bear. 1 step, 2 step, tickly under there. So now come forward onto hands and knees. Your baby can lie on the mat underneath you. Bring your hands directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. Make sure that your spine is long so that you're not bunched up with hands too close to knees. So think of a nice long spine. Shoulders are away from your ears. If you do have tender wrists, which is very common postnatally, then making fists can help. Make sure you do this if you're suffering with carpal tunnel syndrome as well. On your next inhalation, lift your heart to shine your chest forward and turn your tailbone up. Exhale, round your spine, relax your neck and let your head hang down. So inhaling, shining the chest through, turn your tailbone up. Also curl your toes under and press your curled under toes into the mat. Exhale, rounding the spine, relax the neck, bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Inhaling, shining the chest through, draw your shoulders back and down. Exhale, rounding. This time sink your bottom all the way down to your heels into child pose. Take a deep breath in and exhale as you sweep forward close to the floor, giving your baby a shower of kisses when you reach your thumbs. Inhale and push up. Then exhale, round and sink your bottom down to your heels. Inhale there. Exhale, sweep forward, close to the floor. Give your baby some kisses. Inhale, push up. Exhale, round. This predictable, repetitive movement is good for baby's brain development. Sink down. Another nice deep breath into the low back. Exhale, sweep forward, keeping shoulders away from the ears. And the kisses are good for bonding with your baby. As you push up, lift your pelvic floor, draw your tummy in, keep your shoulders away from the ears, and exhale, have a nice big round of the spine. Sink down into child pose and let's rest here for a few breaths, breathing into your lower back. And you can cuddle your baby with your hands, maybe even resting your head on your baby. On your next inhalation, come back up to hands and knees, stretching your left leg out behind you. So you really want to stretch that leg out. Keep your toes curled into your yoga mat because that will give you a little bit of friction. And as you push your heel away, you'll get a lovely calf stretch. Step your foot out to the side with a bent knee and circle around the ball of your foot, massaging the ball of the foot. Change directions with the circles. As much as you can, feel like the movement is coming from the hip, but it can be a bit tricky if your hips are tight. Anyway, this should feel really nice for the ball of your foot, and it's good for keeping flexibility in the feet. So let's swap sides, coming back to hands and knees and stretching the right leg out, toes curled into the mat, pushing out through your heel, breathing into this calf stretch. You might find your shoulders sinking behind your hands, but now bring them forward to stack directly over the hands. Step your foot out to the side, keeping the knee bent, and from the hip, circle the hip while circling around the ball of the foot. Lovely massages for the foot, keeping it strong and supple, which is essential for good posture. We need our arches to stay lifted for good posture. Circle the other way when you're ready. A nice freestyle movement, not worrying too much about getting it perfectly right. Come back to hands and knees, have a nice big round for the spine. Widen your knees, bring big toes together, sink your bottom down into hare pose. Relax everything, maybe resting your head on your baby, giving your baby some more kisses. This is such a wonderful time to spend focused time with your baby. You might like to reach your hands out in front of you, shoulder width apart, turning palms to face up. And then down again, which is a nice release for the shoulders. Come up to hands and knees. Widen your knees a little bit, widen the ankles as well. Curl the toes under and walk your hands back towards your knees, lifting the knees and coming into squat pose. Draw your tummy in, lift your pelvic floor and keep your upper body upright. And use the power of your legs to push up to standing. You might want to come a little bit closer to your baby. Make sure your feet are parallel, heel behind the widest part of the foot. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And exhale, hinge forward at your hips. Let your knees bend as much as you need to so that your belly rests on your thighs. You can still keep the knees bent and the tailbone pushing up and get a wonderful hamstring stretch. The legs don't have to be straight. Catch hold of your opposite elbow in front of you and hang like a rag doll. Change the cross of the arms. Notice how this feels. Keep breathing into your lower back. Keep grounding down through the heels as you push your tailbone up. Bring your hands to the floor and walk them forward. Then lower down to hands and knees. You might want to give your baby a few kisses. The knees are wide, big toes together as you sink your bottom down to your heels into hare pose again. A lovely lower back opening pose. Draw your tummy in and roll up to sitting. Bring your bottom to the floor. Bring your baby onto your lap. So we're going to come into seated staff pose, aiming for your back to be flat and straight up like a shepherd's staff. You might need to bend your knees for this or sit up on a yoga block or cushion. If you find yourself tipping backwards to the back edges of your sit bones or rounding the lower back, then bending the knees more or adding that support to sit on will help you to keep your back flat. It's really important that we're centered on the sit bones and the lower back is flat and you're sitting straight up. That's going to protect your back in this position and it will feel more comfortable. On your inhalation, strongly flex your feet. So we're flexing at the ankles. Exhale, point the ankles, point the toes. Continue with your breath. Inhale, flex. Exhale, point. Working the ankles through one of their ranges of motion. Keeping strength and suppleness in the ankle. This is great for posture and good for injury prevention. So if you accidentally tripped and twisted your ankle, stronger, suppler, more circulated tissues will be less likely to be injured. Inhale as you spread your toes as much as you can. Then exhale as you curl your toes gently. Don't squeeze them too fiercely or you might get cramp. Just continuing to inhale, spread the toes, spread the ball of the foot, and exhale, curl the toes. So great for circulation to the feet. Inhale as you bring your big toes towards you and exhale, extend the big toes away. So it's like little side bends for the ankles. These movements are also good for draining fluid from swollen feet and ankles, another thing that can happen postnatally. Your leg muscles will be working as well, so observe how they feel. We'll extend these side bends into circles, circling the ankles one way, take your time, circle the other way. Lots of wonderful circulation to our feet, legs and ankles. Widen your legs a little bit so your baby can sit down on the floor. They could also lie down on the floor in between your legs. Lift and lengthen up the back of your body and inquire into tipping forward. The heart is open, the lower back is flat, your shoulders are not rounding. So this is a tip forward at the hips. You might not go very far, that's fine. Think of the back of the pelvis lifting and the front tipping forward. Imagine your sit bones that you sit on are extending out behind you like they were on roller skates. Keep shining energy out through the balls of the feet so the back of the legs are lengthened and extended, hamstring stretch. An alternate position for your baby during this practice could be lying down, and that might be especially good if they're very little or if you are a more flexible person and you can hinge forward a little bit more at the hips. But remember, it's not a competition. Even if it's just a teeny hinge forward, that's fine. Slowly coming back up to sitting. Draw tummy in, lift pelvic floor as you lift up your baby and bend your knees, having your feet flat on the mat. Bring your baby onto your shins for a little bit of tummy time. Make sure you support them with your hands. Flex your feet, curling your toes towards you, broad through the balls of the feet. So you'll find yourself able to tip forward at the hips and bring your belly to the thighs. The more your knees are bent, the more easy it will be to get your belly to your thighs. You can scoot your baby down your shins so they're kind of sitting on the top of your engaged feet. And then round your shoulders over your knees. Give your baby lots of kisses. This is lovely tummy time for the babies, helping them to strengthen their back. They don't always like tummy time. So you can always widen your legs a little bit so they can lie down in between your legs if they're not liking this. And slowly coming back up again. Hold your baby in close. Come back into seated star pose. Soles of the feet together, quite a good distance from your body. Baby can lay down with their head on your feet. Rub your hands together. Inhale, lengthen up. So we'll sing another Om to our babies. Hinge forward at your hips and stroke your baby down from head to toe. Rub your hands together again, this time placing your warm hands over your eyes, dropping your chin, let your eyes bathe in this warm eye bath of energy, so soothing. Peel your hands slowly away from your eyes. So you might like to end the class here, or if you've got a bit more time, relax with us. And we're going to sing some lums. So hold your baby in one arm and using the strength of your other arm, come down via your side. Roll over to your back. Bend your knees, bring your baby onto your shins for a little bit of tummy time as you rock side to side, massaging out through your lower back. So lum is the seed sound of the root chakra, so the energy center, said in the yogic philosophy to be located in the pelvic floor. And it's to do with our sense of stability and safety in the world. We're going to make the sound lum with every exhalation to create an ocean of lums. Pitch it quite low so it vibrates down in your pelvic floor. This practice is soothing for both you and baby. So take a deep inhalation and create the sound lum whenever your exhalation naturally occurs. Lum. Lum. And one more time. Use the strength of your arms to gently lift up your baby. Draw your knees in towards your tummy and rest your baby on your shins. Gently rocking side to side. If they're very little and they don't like this, just keep them on your chest as you draw your knees in. Bring your baby back to your chest. Roll over to your side, holding your baby in one arm and using the strength of the other one to push yourself up to sitting. Notice how you feel, awake and alert. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.